Hello, welcome in. Get out the cold. Remember, shoes off at the front door. Get some snacks and come take a seat and join us here in the Music Shack with both
Ray, hi.
and Jack. Hi, we're back with another episode, and we're just vibing. We've had a sort of slower week, a good week though, an exciting week, and yeah, we're just sort of chatting about. There's not a, to be fair, there's not a lot to talk about. There's a couple of things that, especially because the Eras tour, and we never actually spoke about that the fact that the Eras tour was like starting back again, um,
Yeah.
and a lot has sort of happened. Well, a lot of like insane stuff for like people that are like really thinking about the surprise songs and stuff. So we should probably just start there, right, to get this.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could start there. It's been interesting. I mean, obviously she's done Tokyo and then she's gone over to Australia and done Melbourne and now she's in Sydney as the time we're recording this and then she's going to go to Singapore after. It is so in Tokyo, like the surprise songs were pretty like I can't remember off the top of my head what they were,
I think they were
but
tame though.
they were pretty tame. Um, and then in Melbourne, she started doing mashups, and then she did like what was it like? The first one that she did was like August with Getaway Car and
Trying to remember, but this is where that tweet goes back when it's like it's like get in the car, it's August, like comes back so
mm-hmm.
much. I remember
Yeah,
because you were away, so I was like spamming, like trying to message you what songs it was, and now I'm
I
completely
know.
forgetting. Let me double
Jack
check.
Jack is like sending me videos and stuff while I was away of all the different mashups because I needed to stay in the loop.
I'm trying to think what it was. Oh no, so she sang "You're Losing Me," and then that's when she spoke about how she really like needed to make the Tortured Poets Department, and like she
Mm-hmm.
seemed so mad singing "You're Losing Me," not like mad, but like no, not mad. It was like, but it was like it was incredible. And then trying to go through this, so it was "You're Losing Me," and then it was acoustic. So it was "Getaway Car," August, and "The Other Side of the Door," and
Right.
then
Yeah.
"This Is
That.
Me" trying on piano, which killed me.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's that was an insane night, and that's kind of what started it. So she said that she didn't want to like have to worry about not repeating surprise songs. She said something along the lines of this isn't a direct quote because it's from my memory, um, but like not having to pick a color from the crayon box and just wanting to be able to experiment and tell a story that she wants to with the music that she can and doing mashups is what she wanted to do and what she started to do. I think it's fun and exciting. I see some people hating on it on Twitter, and I'm like, you're getting something special. Like, I don't. I get that you would rather like hear, you'd like, you know, she did like Daylight and Come Back Be Here, and if you really like Daylight and you really hate Come Back Be Here, and you only get half of one song and not like all the lyrics, like I can get how it feels shitty, but like it's also kind of special to get a mashup in some ways. So I think it goes both ways, and I think I'm excited to see how it evolves because I think right now she's like really excited about the mashups, but I'm sure like by November of this year, she will be doing something completely different that will also
Yeah.
be exciting. So, if you're going to a show in the future, like you could literally get anything. I think that's like really scary because I know like I was like, oh, by the time like my shows come by, like a bunch of songs are going to be already gone. So, like the possibilities aren't like completely endless, but they still are. They're going to be endless and even more endless because you could get like a mashup.
Like yeah, like I really I'd love to see like how this continues, like with a bit of time. Is she gonna? Because she's been like really on it. Like she's been, it's so she was maybe doing like one on guitar and then just doing a song on piano, but like the last well this morning and last yesterday's as well, I swear I can't fully remember, my memory is like so
Yeah.
bad, but it was like double mashups, and it was, so it's in, oh no, it was because it was we had TAY BRINA yesterday because they had to delay the show, and then Sabrina came out and they sang White Horse and Coney Island, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, that was incredible. Like, oh my god. That was I had a feeling that Sabrina was going to come out when I went to sleep that night and I saw that the show was being delayed. I was like, I'm definitely waking up and seeing
Yeah.
um that Sabrina, like I was honestly expecting like a Gracie situation where they would sing one of Sabrina's songs, and I was really excited to see which Sabrina song they were going to choose, but that I was still excited. Like her singing White Horses is great.
Can you imagine we got Taylor on the nonsense remix? That would be
Oh my
crazy.
god.
Like we just get a nonsense like outro from Taylor Swift. That would be
I saw
unhinged. So unhinged.
I saw
I
like
can't even
that.
imagine, because Sabrina's nonsense outros and like just Australia in general have been chaotic, and it's been so fun. I still don't know how she comes up with them all, and I just like I feel so bad, but she's smashing it. So, um, no,
It is
it was such a
crazy.
like a beautiful moment. Like it was literally the same sort of reaction as like Tay Gracie, but like obviously these artists hold like a different place in everybody's hearts. So like people really love Gracie and people love Sabrina. So it's like being able to
Yeah.
be part of that sort of like joint like fandom where like you support one artist, and like Taylor, like it's really cool because you get that moment. And like I know, like as much as I'm not like as big as a fan of Sabrina as I am Gracie, like I know how I felt during like Tay Gracie, and I just know that people had like such a beautiful time during like Tay Brina as well. And it's been really fun to see. And it's like the mashups that have been done, like Teardrops on My Guitar on
Uh-huh.
piano was like beautiful. um Daylight was like such a beautiful moment, and they've all been like good, like they've all been beautiful. Like we had Haunted, and this is where my mind blanks me. We had Haunted, and what is my brain
Uh
doing? It literally happened this morning. We had Haunted, and oh my gosh,
Haunted in Exile.
that's what it is. And everybody was wanting Exile, and they got it, and it was exciting. And yeah, like I don't know, I'm really excited to see where this goes. And it all kind of has happened after like the Torture Poets department, and there's been a lot of like mashups that people have been sort of like trying to understand the meaning of. And like it's cool to see, it's another part of the fandom
Yeah.
that you kind of get. And obviously we love, like, we're Taylor Swift fans because we like appreciate the music, and we appreciate the lyrics and like how she does stuff, and they're the same. And it's like cool to see people's takes on it. Again, we'll never really know why or whatever. But it was like I was there watching it live, not there like there. I was on a TikTok live stream. I wish I was there. But when she genuinely spoke about how she needed to write the Torture Poets department, like there was a part of me internally, I just like I felt so sad because it was like, yeah, she's expressed this a lot for a lot of her albums and like how they helped her through this time. But it's like with the meaning we kind of have what from this album, and like the way we see this going, it's sad because it's like you can truly see like how
I th-
this desperately like was needed.
I think it's really interesting, and I think it's something that this album is going to I don't think there has been, I mean there has been, but not in recent history, especially because of COVID and like and all that. But like to see, like we've seen this in the past obviously cuz Taylor has always like written her new albums while on tour for her previous album. That's kind of the cycle.
Yeah.
um but I think especially with the Eras tour, we've seen like because of the Joe breakup and like because of the different surprise songs and stuff, um we've kind of like seen her emotions evolve through her heartbreak with Joe, like from like just trying to repress it at the start, and then like you know you know seeing her cry a lot on stage and all of that stuff, and then now seeing her with Travis and like seeing her start to move on and all of that, and obviously when she was with Maddie and like the rebound shit, and we saw her going in and out of the studio for a lot of that, and we know that she said in Tokyo, I think, that she wrote the album through a lot of the US leg of the tour.
Yeah.
And it'll just be interesting for me to see those moments that we saw her emotion, and obviously we never knew, and we still don't know, and like what she was going through during those times, but we will get to see a glimpse of that through her writing. And I'm happy like that through a time that like must have been so hard for her, like trying to be mentally strong and putting on a 3-hour long show is not easy, even if you're in a happy place in your life. But to do that brokenhearted and like trying to process a heartbreak is probably 10 times harder. And she did it for us, and like she used her songwriting as a coping mechanism for that, and I think that's really important and special, and I'm really excited to see what's on the album. I've seen a lot of people say like a bunch of the mashups are like hints of like themes that are going to be explored on the Torture Poets department, and I'm kind of like, I don't know about that, because not that like that might totally be true, like I don't want to say one way or the other, but I think it's like yet to be seen. I don't want to speculate. Like obviously we know the album's about Joe and we know some of the themes about the album, but I don't want to speculate like so heavily on like Joe did this and Joe did that because of one surprise song. One, like literally in like a month and a half we're gonna get an entire album probably telling us exactly what Joe did,
and she will tell us. Like she won't not tell us. Like we know she's definitely gonna tell us what's happened. So it's it's fun to speculate, but we will know. And I don't think she's gonna hold back, and I also don't think she should have to hold back, especially with how she spoke about how obviously the album was like she needed to write it. So like it sounds like it's coming from such like a heightened emotion place, and it should. And she had like she was pretty much, as you said, like on tour when she wrote it, and like with that as well as the stuff that was going on daily, especially when the news of her and Joe broke, like you could obviously like that's when we started to see like seeds that had been previously planted, and like we could start noticing things. But like she put on like such a good face, but I can just tell this album's going to be like completely like heart-wrenching and like maybe the saddest stuff I've ever heard from Taylor, but like a good, like not sad, like it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be wordy sad, and I'm excited. I'm so excited. But
I'm very excited too. We'll see, and we'll be doing a reaction and a breakdown of every little thing on the album when it comes out. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or podcast feed, whatever you're listening on, to be notified when those things come out.
Yeah, you should. There's literally one theory with it, and it's staying true. The whole 5 stages of grief, which follows a colour scheme which is currently going well, like it's happening. You have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And if it lines up, which it is right now, we've been through denial, anger, and bargaining with the release of variations. The one that sort of like recently announced was the Albatross, and it's like sort of going along this colour scheme. So it's going to get darker and darker over time, which we've seen so far. But there's been a couple like thoughts about the certain versions and like why they're called certain things, and some of them are really sad. Like the Albatross, for example, the definition is a person who causes you great problems from which you can't escape, or they prevent you from doing what you want to do, something that greatly hinders accomplishment, which is a little bit sad. And I don't know. The bolter could be determined as someone. A lot of people refer to the bolter as the whole clip that we constantly see of Joe like rushing into the taxi, or like not the taxi but the car, and like people are like,
It could also be about her, like
yeah,
from like, jail, her bolting.
yeah, like, and there's thing is, I don't think we've got as much from that as much as we have, because the bolter's hard to define, because obviously like
Yeah.
bolt would be like running or like fast or like you know what I mean, but like the albatross is like more defined, so it could be like thingied up for anyway. I guess we'll wait and
Yeah.
see what we get the next two versions. Depression and Acceptance, I don't know, but the fact that we're getting a song on top of all these vinyls, which is sad because we're gonna have to wait for hours, like for ages for it to come on like streaming services, and there'll probably be a Target exclusive at this point. That's a lot of tracks to not have access to. But
I assume the manuscript stuff will be in Target because that's like the main one, or like
yeah,
that's the one that like is on the main record. But it's still not going to be on streaming. I want to know, like, so we kind of jumped to this and we kind of skipped a little bit of the context, but obviously Taylor has been announcing these new variations at each new city she goes to on the Eras tour. She announced one in Melbourne. She's announced one in Sydney, and like, yeah, she'll probably announce one in Singapore, so on and so forth. But and then every time it comes out, she posts it on her shop, the new version, and people go buy it. And obviously each record has, Olivia did a similar thing where she had a bunch of different colored records, and each record had like a different ring lit up on her finger, like bejeweled on her finger.
yeah,
And depending on the ring, the letter of the ring that was lit up was like the different bonus track that you got for that record. And Taylor's doing something similar, obviously, with like the different file names. I wonder what you think, because I think it's just like a little bit of a scheme to encourage people to buy every single version, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna have like 4 alternate covers and everyone's just gonna pick one that they like the best and just have that one. Or like, not everybody, obviously there's collectors out there who want to get everything, but like a lot, like majority of people aren't collectors. But if you're somebody who isn't a collector but you want to get a copy of the record, you're gonna have this feeling of like, I don't have everything if you buy one of them. And for me personally, like, I'm not a collector. Like, I don't own every single variation of Taylor's records, but I try to own a copy of every single record, like one copy. Like for Midnights, I just bought one copy. For example, same with like Folklore or whatever. And that's enough for me. And now I'm sitting here like, I don't know which one to buy. And it's a lot.
it is a lot, and I really don't like it. I think it's so we live, our like generation is like a generation that like is notoriously bad for like saving, because they feel like the FOMO is real for like us, I think, and I don't know what causes it. I don't know why it's so different for us than it is everywhere else, but and I think music labels are heavily capitalizing on this because they know people will buy it, and it also pushes up the record pre-orders, making it like obviously more like deemed more successful. Yeah. Like I get it. I get it from like a number standpoint. I hate that it's becoming a tactic, and I also forget how bad it was for Folklore, because there was like 8 versions. This was all in lockdown as well, when people had no money. So like the fact that the record companies and everything wanted to push stuff like this so hard even back then is crazy, and it genuinely makes me like thingy, like even as a collector, I try and collect. Like it's hard because there's no way I'm gonna be able to afford to buy like all 8 versions of Folklore, and like even if I wanted to, like it is a lot, and I just don't like the way it's going. And this is why like I used to be grateful that Taylor was going through re-recordings, because you can't really do this as much with re-recordings. You can't like sort of like because it's not like a fresh album, you're not fleshing out a new plan to like sort of sell as many variations as possible. But it became that very quickly.
They did it with 1989. Like,
and then Speak Now as
it's
well. It became that very quickly, but it wasn't like that for Fearless or Red as much. I think it was only Red and Red Target exclusive, and then Fearless was the same. And like,
I think it's more of like a time thing, like the reason why Speak Now
Yeah.
and where's and 1989 were like that, just because it's becoming more commonplace in the industry to do that.
yeah,
Like, it used to be, you have the standard record, you have like the online only version, the web store version, and then you have like indie store exclusive version, and maybe like an alternate cover, and that's it.
yeah. That's what it should be.
And every single record's like the same. It's just a different color, and they all have all the same tracks on it. So you don't need to buy every single one. You can pick which one you like the best. And if you want to buy every single one because it's your favorite artist, then obviously you can. But it's like this. It's crazy that they like think that having like 7 different colors of a record is okay, and then all of a sudden one of them will become really rare, and like you just never know which one that will be, and which one that like you might not be able to get down the line in the future.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it sort of worked out for Olivia's like Guts. It didn't. It was still like sort of scummy from, I don't. And this is like never the artist. I don't think the artist has much say. They provide a bunch of tracks that they put on the original version, and then they'll also like soft like they'll like pick certain tracks that can be used for like marketing, like
Or
for
deluxe,
like this,
yeah.
like for like deluxe season for like stuff that can be used on like what if they're gonna do something special like this or whatever. It's all like the industry, and it's a really messed up place, the music industry, but I don't like the way it's going. The Olivia's Guts and stuff sort of had it out because it had a record store day Black Friday release, so you could have waited, but then again you don't know that, and it's horrible because obviously
I
people
think
bought
that's
that.
what I'm gonna do. Like, I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Is I'm just gonna buy the standard version for Tortured Poets, and I'm gonna just like hope that there's a record store day version that comes out next year or Black Friday or whatever, and that has all of the bonus tracks in one place, and I'll try to get that. Yeah, it will be hard to get, but I will try to get it.
Considering that Olivia is under UMG, and they done that with Olivia for Black Friday, I think Taylor could be the exact same. And I don't know what they would call it, but they would maybe call it like the file cabinet, or like some, like they try and like layer it into this whole TTPD thing. But I think you're right in waiting. But I also like, I'm someone that's buying all variations because I can't not, because I literally feel like I'm missing out, and I'm stupid for that myself. But I'm also like really grateful because a bunch of merch that I bought for like Christmas and stuff didn't come, and I reached out to UMG, and obviously they had to refund it because it's ridiculous. So like I'm using that money to do that, and I would be able to afford to do it if I didn't have that. And it's like, I hate that I have to do that, and I don't have to do it, and people are going to be like, well, you don't have to do it, and I know that's so true. But I just,
it's
I
your
don't know.
choice.
I do collect vinyls, but
it doesn't, just because you're buying them doesn't make it less stressful, or like doesn't make it less shitty. Obviously you could make the choice, I'm gonna only buy one. I mean, I'm making that choice, but it is really different when, for you, like, you are a collector of Taylor's records. You have every single version of Speak Now and every single version of whatever, right? Like, I don't, and I know that if I tried to start now, I would spend way too much money buying them off Discogs for like ridiculous prices. And like, that's like me with Maisie. Like, I own every single variation of You Signed Up for This and every single variation of The Good Witch. So if her next album she's gonna do something like this, there's no way I'm not gonna buy every single one, because I have every single one of her records already, and I don't want to stop. Like, I don't want to not own one just because. And like, Obviously, if I'm in a financial situation where I couldn't do that, then I would make that decision not to buy the record. But like, you put in money into buying things that you love in different ways. Everybody does, and that's okay. But I do see like people complaining about it on Twitter, and then people in the replies being like, well, like, I'm not forcing you to buy it. I'm like, doesn't mean that it's not like a shitty tactic. Like,
Oh yeah, no,
it's
fully.
like it. I'm not buying it, but I still think it's a shitty tactic, and like, it's unfair to the people who are collectors of Taylor's records. Like, it's just unfair, but
No,
it
like
is what it
yeah,
is.
like I am buying it, and I think it's a fucking scummy like I,
Yeah.
it's just it's horrible because they're like I am like not me alone, but like people like me are the reason that they can still do it, and it's annoying, but they really are capitalizing on their generation, and it is also us to fault. Like we are at fault for sort of being as connected to these artists as we are, but at the same time, like everybody's gonna have an artist that they do these things for. It kind of is a little bit different that some people's is like Taylor, where like there is other smaller artists that like if you done that for other artists that could help them a lot. But there's a lot of us that do it for Taylor, and there's a lot of us that do it for Maisie and stuff like that. And you're gonna have that, and I don't spend a lot of money on anything else really. I literally, like that's my like vice, is like vinyls, and I know people have like their own vice, and I think just like it's a scummy tactic, and you shouldn't ever feel horrible for
You
not.
shouldn't feel obligated to
Yeah,
buy it.
and you should also not
That's
have a go at anybody for not buying them, because it's literally we're in a cost of living crisis, and it's however people want to spend their money is how they're going to spend their money, and I think it's down to the record, like the industry and the record companies who are constantly get away
are
with it
greedy.
and are greedy, and it's yeah, it's not, yeah, I don't know, it's scummy, but we'll see. I don't know.
Just one last thing before we move off of this topic. I think it's important. I think it's important to say, like, if you want to buy a record, you can, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. And the amount of records you own of an artist does not make you a better fan in any way. People have been fans since Speak Now or Fearless and don't own the merch of those eras or don't own the records of those eras because of circumstances that aren't in their control. Like, I wasn't able to buy a cardigan during Folklore, even though Jack knows because we were literally friends at the time.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Taylor then. And like I wasn't able to buy it because of the circumstances of the time. There was a freaking pandemic, and that doesn't mean that like I'm a bad fan because it was sitting on the shop for weeks back in 2020 and I never bought it. But it was a circumstantial situation, and now I can't get it, which sucks. But anyway, I just want to say, like, if you see people saying that people are better fans because of merch they own, like, it's great to own old merch. Like, it's a really cool flex, but if you don't own old merch or don't own a rare record or whatever, don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, you're not a bad fan for even like if you don't contribute to social media and things like that. Like nobody will ever know how much you appreciate that artist, and that's okay. It might not feel like it is, and you might feel like so left out, but it's what like what makes an artist is different to everybody. Like what makes an artist special is different to everybody. So it's like just do what makes you happy, and it just like you shouldn't feel any less for that. And it's I don't know. There is a lot of like that in the fandoms and stuff at the minute, and there shouldn't be, and it just sucks that there is. But yeah, it doesn't make you any less of a fan if you don't support in other ways that people can, because they have a different outcome and like surrounding. So yeah, you're so right with saying that. It's something you can feel really guilty for, and it's like you shouldn't at all.
No.
But since we were talking about Olivia, we may as well go on to this. The Guts World Tour launched off with a like beautiful like show. Oh my gosh, there is so many scenes like from this like tour layout that is like stunning. I don't know if you've seen the photo of her like over the audience on the moon with like the
Oh my god,
stars.
so cool.
It is
Yeah, I seen
so
that.
like I love this image so much, and like I am luckily going for one day, and I am. This is the image I'm searching out for, like, 'cause I want to get it and like edit it in my own way and like
That's so
and
awesome.
it looks so beautiful, and the whole like the set list is interesting. I'm quite sad because a couple songs, so one 3 steps forward, one that's the other way about 1 step forward, 3 steps back isn't on there, and I think we can sort of maybe see why. And then also
Mm-hmm.
Hope You're Okay isn't on there, and Hope You're Okay is like probably my favorite song, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of the this set list, so it makes sense, but it is quite sad. The set list goes Bad Idea Right, Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl, Vampire, Traitor, Driver's License on piano, Teenage Dream on piano, Pretty Isn't Pretty, Love Is Embarrassing, Making the Bed, Logical, Enough for You, Lacey, Jealousy Jealousy, Happier, Favourite Crime, Deja Vu, The Grudge, Brutal, Obsessed, All American Bitch, and then for the encore, Good For You and Get Him Back. And what Get Him Back is such an amazing song to go last on the set list.
Oh my god, yeah. Incredible, like the energy in the room after that song once it's over is going to be absolutely incredible. um I think it's a good set list. It's absolutely wild to me that like that is majority of her discography.
Yeah. I think it's
Like,
is
and
it
it's
not
already
most.
so
I think it
small.
is genuinely just those 2 songs that aren't on that is
Yeah,
like
I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know because I don't have the set list in front of me, but I trust that those are the only 2 songs. Um, but yeah, it is like it's pretty much like 98% of her discography, which is insane that it's that small, but it's like it's a good set list. I think from the videos I've seen, like the moon stuff is crazy. A bunch of the outfit, like there's a bunch of different outfit changes. Something I will say is like from the videos I've seen of I never went to Sour Tour, but from the and maybe you could say this better because you actually went to Sour Tour, but um from like the stuff I've seen from Sour Tour versus Guts Tour, like Olivia's stage presence in this tour is like insane, especially commanding a room in that big of an audience is not easy, even though like those people are there for you, like you're not an opener or something. Like she has improved so much. So that's really exciting.
yeah, the energy in the room for the Sour tour that always that gets me every single time. The Sour
Mm-hmm.
tour, just the way I say it sounds really weird. But I think we've said this plenty of times. A lot of people had the same critique for Olivia, that she would like couldn't sing live and all this dumb stuff. But then she constantly goes against the grain and literally shows why she is as popular as she is, and um, the whole like it's just everything from this tour is so exciting to see. There's so much like the choreography, the set list, the sort of like gimmicks that make it so good, like the whole get him back on the mic, like the mic, not the microphone, the
Megaphone.
megaphone. That's
Yeah.
it. Like it's
So
just
cool.
it's cool, and yeah, like I'm trying to not watch or like thingy it too much because this is like one that I'm really excited to see, but um, it's cool. Like yeah, I honestly have no other words other than like the photos, the videos from it have been so cool, and she's been going down mid performance. I think I don't know what during what song, and like seeing fans and stuff, which is really cool. Yeah, and I don't know. I just think it's exciting. That we're seeing the Guts tour like happen, and I'm constantly just excited by what Olivia produces and what our team like and how they market it and stuff, and it's not failed. It's been like something really exciting to watch and see, and they've smashed it again like they did with the sewer like whole like
Yeah.
launch and everything. But
It's it's exciting. I think it's so great. Like the tour and seeing her play arenas is absolutely wild. Like
yeah,
totally deserved. I'm so excited. Like it's gonna be a really good tour. So if you're going, definitely look forward to it for sure.
It's just a little bit crazy how literally it was when I'd seen her originally, it was 2,500 people, and it's like obviously now to like venues and like arenas and stuff like that. But even 2,500 was like too much for her back, like was too little for her back then. Like it was so hard to get tickets for those things. But it just like shows you how fast she rose, and I don't know, it's really cool to see, and yeah, it's exciting, and yeah, just can't wait to see how it goes. But there is literally, it's a kind of a slow week, so the only other thing we really have to talk about is Lizzy Mcalpine is going on tour, and this is exciting. If you live sort of like in the UK or in certain places in the EU, and I think maybe a couple American dates, I can't really remember. Lizzy cancelled her original parts of her original tour last time because of, well, part of the 5 Second Flat tour, because of her mental health and her physical health, which is so, we spoke about it on the podcast. Let me quickly figure out what episode it was, but which is something that I personally am like a big massive fan of, like artists and just like mental health like stuff in general, and it's really cool. She's came back with such an amazing attitude to this. She's been getting a lot of like sort of, there's been a lot of discourse about it, and she genuinely came on to like Instagram Live and was like I don't know what you want me to do, like this is what is going to make it easier for me to do, and that I just love that. Like I think it's beyond cool, and
she can't like to ask like people asking her to like do more because she had to cancel dates when like at the end of the day it's not really fully her fault. Like artist gets pushed so much, and for her to set that boundary for herself is really good. There's a lot of artists who don't do that, and yeah, it sucks that some of the dates had to be canceled to create that boundary, but now the promoter knows and they're able to plan a tour accordingly so that it never happens again, and that's really important.
Yeah, and like with all the discussion that's been happening, obviously I live in Scotland, and Scotland wasn't one of the dates that was announced. There is a couple dates were added, but it was like London and a couple other US dates, but they're all like, so she's coming London, at least in the UK she's coming to London, and 2 other England shows, so 4 England shows and Dublin I think, and it's sad, like I'm sad, but I'll probably travel to see her. So with this, obviously, because she cancelled a lot of the shows for the 5 Seconds Flat tour, a lot of people are wondering if there's going to be certain songs on the set list, and she's came out to say there's only probably going to be like 3 songs from 5 Seconds Flat, and people are like, oh, is and she also came on to say that people that are expecting ceilings and are only coming to her shows to hear ceilings, not to bother. So I think that means that ceilings off the set list, and I cannot tell you like how yeah, and it sounds so weird because you would never see this with an artist, but this is why I really love her attitude coming into this, is because she owes these people, she owes nobody anything realistically, right? She puts her art there and people perceive it in different ways. So if she doesn't want to perform a song, she doesn't have to. She blew up on TikTok and gained a huge amount of success from that song, which is like in part like good for her. Obviously she gains a new audience that learn to love her music, but there's people that are always stuck on that one song for every artist that blows up, and it's like they go and don't make any lengths to learn any other discography or like the music. So the fact that she just came out and practically said like thank you for so much, but like respect, like it's probably not going to be on there, so like probably don't come if you don't want to take the time to listen to music, or if you don't want to like, or if you don't like any other music.
I think it's like one thing, like if you found Lizzy's music because of ceilings, like great, like that is, I'm sure she appreciates that. But if you haven't like taken the time to listen to any of her other songs, which are absolutely incredible as well, like what's the point? Like I know that this happened a lot in the last tour because I saw videos of it on Twitter, that like a lot of the times the room was like pretty quiet other than during ceilings, like people just like didn't care, and I think that probably really negatively affected her mental health and probably contributed to why
Yeah.
she canceled other dates. And obviously this was in America. Like, I feel like the European audience is a little bit more respectful when it comes to stuff like that. But still kind of annoying. Maybe I'm wrong, Jack. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just my opinion.
No, I think that does line up like with what you've said.
Yeah. And like, so I can see why she's just going to take it off, if that, especially if that was a contributing factor to like her mental health during tour not being great, because feeling like your music isn't being appreciated other than one song can be draining. And I know it from other artists who have had viral TikTok songs that it feels like that's all they're ever going to be known for. And like, when I went to Bear's show, for example, like, she has a viral TikTok song, Meant to Be, but like, she told us after, like, how great it was that so many people in the room were singing every single song back to her, and not just that one song, which is what she's used to. Like, she's like, she felt like she's like always gonna be stuck in this box, and that's always gonna be what she's known for. But it's really special that like people take the time to care about her and her music as a whole. And I think that more people should do that. And if you're gonna come to a show because you know a few songs of an artist, like, stay at the back. It's okay to be there.
Yeah.
But like, honest to God, even when I go to a show where like maybe I know the artist a little bit, I still take the time to listen to the set list before I go, because like, I have some decency and like want to respect the artist.
I feel like it is just respect. Like, it is just respect, and like, yeah. There's not a lot of that. Lizzy's someone that's suffered from this so much before. Like, Lizzy done really well on TikTok during lockdown because she was writing songs that were like really, like, people found and really loved. And there was a song called, well, I can't remember, I don't think it's got an official name, but it's like, I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's like, you ruined in 1975. Like, that's the...
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, so this was her.
I did not even know that was her.
No, it's literally same, right? So in lockdown, I found this, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And like, I just like, it was one of the things where you like, and then you like scroll. And then once I found Lizzy, it must have just been like after 5 seconds flat, I was like scrolling through TikTok, and I was like, no freaking way. Like, that was who that was, and I never even realised, but this is a song that she has been like pressured consistently to release, and she's always said like if I ever was to release it, it would be when I wanted to, but like, I've felt so much pressure of like people only wanting to ever hear that song that I don't think I'll ever release it to the public eye. And now it's happened with Ceilings as well, and it's like, I can fully understand why she's so against, like, sort of like she's like making sure she isn't stuck in that box. And she is such a talented artist, and like her acoustically, just like her writing and everything, it like deserves so much more than to be stuck in the box. Ceilings is an incredible song, don't get me wrong, but like, so much better. There is so much better works of art from her discography like out there. And yeah, there's so much hate from this all. Literally the last one is because, at least in the UK, people are complaining because she obviously cancelled, and she's come back and she's doubled the price of tickets. She hasn't doubled the price of tickets, might I add. It's because if you look at the actual venues, when she was originally going to come, it was a venue of like 2,300 people. Now she's coming again. The venue is doubled capacity, so the prices are obviously going to be more, and people need to stop. Like, can you not that's so works. Easy to understand, and it's not even like me protecting anybody. It's genuinely like, that's going to happen. You're getting a bigger venue, it's going to cost more. The artist still needs to make money from the tour, and that's with merch sales, but the merch sales only now pretty much pay off the venues at this point, because how much like venues cost and like how much everything costs. And it's like, just like, if you're not there, sorry, you go. I'm ranting.
No. I agree with you completely. I cannot fathom, every single time an artist announces a tour, I see people being like, I can't believe the tickets are like double the prices last time. Yeah. I'm like, I can't believe they raised their prices so much. I'm like, yeah, they're not playing the same venue. Like, that's how it works. Like, when people are like, this happened with Taylor, and we literally talked about it. They're like, oh my god, I have to pay £150 to see Taylor when I could pay £30 to go see this other artist that's playing at a tiny venue. I'm like, yeah, because she's playing in a fucking stadium. Like, it's not even the fact that it's Taylor Swift. It's just like normal prices for stadium shows. But anyway, I think people like really need to comprehend that, because it pisses me off. And also, I think people also need to understand that, like, promote the way that it works with tour promoters is when you tour in a new area, you like, so 5 Seconds Flat tour was Lizzy's very first time doing a tour in Europe and the UK, right?
I think
So
she
they're
maybe
going to,
came for like, there was one show she done in 2022, but I can't remember what that was part of. But that was
okay. Okay, I see. I didn't know that, but anyway, like, it was, one of the very first times she had come to Europe or the UK. So they don't have a baseline for what her audience is there, because there are a lot of artists that are really popular in one country and nobody knows them anywhere else. So, like, if they want to say, hey, I'm going to do a Europe tour, but I'm selling out these venues in America, like, the tour promoter does not care. Like, they have to go off of, okay, like, they have to sell a smaller venue then, because they don't want a situation where they sell you like a freaking arena and you can only sell 2,000 tickets. Then they're like, we should have just given you a 2,000 ticket venue, right?
yeah.
And so the first time you go to a country or to a place, they will always choose a very small venue for your start. And then if you sell that out like very quickly, the next time you tour there, they'll scale up accordingly based on what they saw the demand was at the last tour. So, like, for Lizzy, like, she probably had, like, the tickets probably sold out right away. I don't know for sure, but you could probably confirm that.
Yeah, once they went to general sale, yeah, they sold it.
Yeah, so, like, they know that she can sell more tickets, so they're going to double the capacity. It's pretty basic. And, like, even then, like, in Toronto, she's playing at Bud Stage, which is, like, I think it's like 13,000 capacity. 16,000 is the capacity. Whereas in London, she's playing at a 5,000 capacity venue. So still significantly smaller. And I don't know how big Lizzy is in the UK, but she could probably sell a bigger venue in the UK as well. But they have to be safe because they don't have precedent. You could see a similar example of this with, like, Noah Khan. He was selling out like amphitheaters and arenas in America, and when he went for his first UK tour in November, first UK and Europe tour in November, he was playing like tiny venues there with, like, 1,000 people in each venue, because he had never played a show there and they have no idea what his reach was. But they sold out so quickly that they scheduled another arena tour with him because they realized the capacity. That's just how it works. So now he's doing an arena tour, which is more his level of popularity over there. But that's kind of just a side to this Lizzy tour thing. But I think it's an important note when you think about, like, sizes of venues and like being upset that, like, it's grown or it's gotten more expensive. It's just the way that it is.
Yeah, we had a rant, but it's true. It's true. Let's yeah, that's us pretty much done. There's some new music, which is exciting. If you want to start us off, you can do that.
Sure. So I mentioned Bear earlier. She is iconic. She has a new song called "It's Impressive." It's a piano slow song. It's about, like, a boy that, like, a complicated relationship. It's about a situationship, essentially. It's really, really good song. So if you're looking for a new song to listen to, I highly recommend that. And I know Jack has a few new music recommendations as well, so I'll let him go.
Thank you. No, we're we obviously had an idea of like deep diving into an artist, and Bear is someone who I've not actually listened to, so that I'm excited to like sort of see what I get from the discography and stuff whenever we do that. So I'm gonna be holding off and listening to that just in case an episode's coming soon. Even though I really want to listen to it now, but I'll hold off. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but we'll see. So I've got two this week. So we have firstly Grace Gardner, new EP, Recovery Mile. It's a 7-track EP. It's an artist from Texas. I keep stop saying M. It's an artist from Texas City. I've done it again. And their music is really cool. I found them the other week, and what they create is like just really nice, like chilled but like beautiful music. And they've got a song doing quite well right now called low block, can't spell it, Lubbock. That's how you say it. Lubbock, who knows. It's doing really well, but the whole EP is stunning and beautiful, and you should go listen to it. And that's literally all I have to say from that. And we have another one who is an artist that I am being obsessed with, and just everything they're doing right now. And it's quite hard to be obsessed with someone who has 2 tracks, but Chloe Slater, South Coast based artist, has released another one of their awesome singles or songs. With 24 Hours they just released, and Sinking Feeling is an older song they have, but they're both so incredible and so awesome, and they're doing really well on all socials. So they already have 52,000 monthly listeners, which is just crazy. But the song is it's a bop, and it's so good. And like even Sinking Feeling, it literally is hard to like not want to listen to like the only other song they have in their discography after listening to 24 Hours. But if you listen to 24 Hours and you love it, go listen to Sinking Feeling. Really, they've obviously doing really well for themselves, and I'm just a little bit obsessed with their like style, their music, just them as a person. They seem really cool. And yeah, so it's Chloe Slater, 24 Hours. Go check it out. It's really fun.
Slay.
Yeah.
Yes, go check out all that new music. We highly recommend. So thank you for listening. It's been a little bit of a longer episode, a bunch of rants we had.
We fully just ranted because that could have been like 20 minutes. But it's okay.
We appreciate you listening. So thank you. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.